What's going on, fellas? This is Sir Studmuffin, Leer of Affliction. This is going to be Warwind number 47. We'll recap. I guess we can call this 5 or 6, however you want to say it, if you want to count the interclan war or not. Anyhow, we won 53 to 44. We played a pretty bad coin, in all honesty. You know, basically, we were kind of rusty. A lot of Team 1 players were rusty. I really struggled. I think we had one 3-star by Bryan, which I will definitely show. But for the most part, really didn't do that great this war. We'll quickly go ahead and show what they did. They got Brew on a bully attack. Other than that, really not a whole lot. You can see we really struggled the top two. There was number 2 was the general, should have been 3-starred. I messed that up of resting my troops. 1 should have been a 3-star as well. We had a few people attack both, and they didn't pan out. They weren't that difficult of bases either. In all honesty, we weren't really on our game this war. So we'll go ahead and just go through the bases. Just look at this Town Hall 8 real quick. That's honestly like level 5 ARD. We shouldn't be keeping that up. I'm a little disappointed, in all honesty. We started off so hot. If I can just scroll through this feed real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 3-stars off the rip. And then I started 8. 8 3-stars off the rip, and then I kind of started a bad trend, it seems like. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get into the recap. We're going to start off with Bryan's attack. Go ahead and check out the base real quick. What he's going to do here, basically, he's going to use a cold-blooded Laloon, but he's going for 2 ARD, so he goes a little bit heavy. So it's almost like a cold-blooded. It's almost like a shattered Laloon, which is 2 golems. But instead of bringing another golem, he stacks on the golems, which, considering the splash damage, in this top compartment, which is what he's going for, you'll see why. So let's go ahead and just watch this replay. It was a good plan, fairly solid attack. It came down to a little luck, though, in all honesty, and you'll kind of see why. But brings the golem down, 2 whizzes on the top storage. I really like that. Kind of makes a line of whiz. Not really how I prefer whiz to be done, but that's okay. Drops in a rage spell, good rage spell. Looks like he's got 2 witches there. Would like to see a poison right now, but seems like he's upgrading things. Not really liking that. Gets his troops in, though. Jump Cell is kind of weird, a little off, but gets to the queen. Solid right there. Gets the whiz and barely kills this ARD, the top, with his. Or actually, no, he doesn't kill his whiz. He takes it one shot with the queen. You're going to see why I said a little luck here. Right here on the queen, she actually goes for the air defense, which is not what I would expect. But anyhow, she does that, and he starts his go Laloon. Now, you're going to notice here, like I said, his numbers. I went through his numbers with him. Looks pretty solid after this. Once you have 2 ARD against Lava Hound, it's pretty much over. Notice Seeking Airmines by the ARD. That's a good anti go Laloon kind of strategy. I've talked about this a few times now. We'll go ahead and keep watching this Laloon. It's pretty much over by now, though. So fairly solid attack. I think this base only had 1 Xbox, though. Definitely could have been a lot cleaner on the main squad, but Loons and Lava Hound deployment looks pretty solid and plenty of time. So it's actually our only 3-star, so that was a little surprising, but did well here. Definitely going to see Team 1 there do a little bit better this next war. A little rusty on the 9s, and that definitely translates over. Next attack we're going to see, This is Alejandro's attack. Quick shout out to Alejandro this war. He had 6 stars. He had the only 6-star in this war, and just absolutely dominated the bases with logo wipe, which at Town Hall 8, absolutely love to see that. So go ahead and watch this logo wipe. He kind of does the same plan as Alpha here. Actually, let me slow this down. Same plan as Alpha here. There's a giant bomb right there, which kind of takes some of his wall breakers out. But thing I like about it, he stacks on his loons a little bit more. Good poison spell. You know, those wizards are a little bit spread out, though. I would have liked to see kind of a funnel and bring his troops more to the core, but there's a bit of a natural funnel. So you're going to see his whiz kind of split out. Looks like he saved some Pekka and some whiz for the inside. And then he gets his main squad into the core. Solid heal spell. Although, I mean, you can see an ineffective golem. You know, it's Town Hall 8 though, so he's able to hollow out this core pretty quickly. Logo wipe at Town Hall 8 is honestly super strong attack. Goes ahead and starts on his balloons a little bit early. You know, he's basically anticipating though that by the time his loons travel, his troops will be there. But you can see definitely on those top loons, a little bit early. He's got 11 loons though, and at this point, it's all clean up. So super solid attack. You know, I think his time was pretty good. You know, I think it went down to a little bit, but solid war for Alejandro. Love the Town Hall 8 logo wipes that we had. Next attack, we actually did bully attack by Reza. I'm not going to show that. We're going to show this attack. You know, I'm kind of featuring Alejandro this war. There's a number of reasons. He did 3-star this attack. This is a logo wipe once again. However, he really choked on this logo wipe, and he still pulls off the 3. So I want to kind of talk about that. So first thing you're going to notice here, drops his bait. You know, pretty standard. They didn't get the full bait. You know, definitely we need to. I saw a few people not get the full bait, and he's kind of hesitating here, and definitely throws him off his game overall. But anyways, goes in with his main squad though. Good spread of wizards and whatnot. You know, it's a good, solid funnel, kind of a natural funnel. Brings in his wall breakers on rage. They make it to the core, so I did like that. However, you're going to see they kind of go here on the side, and that's going to play a bit of a bigger role here later on. So might have brought too many wall breakers, but gets his main core in. Now look at this pathing here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you're going to look, he drops his rage spell, and his troops, because of the Barb King, kind of go off to the side, which really starts messing up with his raid. You're going to start seeing they're going to kind of pan around the base. So we're going to speed this up a little bit. But his troops start panning around the base. And this is kind of like, not necessarily anything he could have done. This is almost like a what to do when everything doesn't go to plan. So he adjusts to it a bit. So you're going to notice here, troops are going around the right side. He brings 2 loons. We're going to kind of move up. Starts bringing his loons, though, in on the top. You know, he's able to take out some air defenses with his loons. That's a pretty solid move right there. And his troops are still working to hollow out the core, but he took out, even though his loons didn't stay up fully, he was able to take out some archer towers and whatnot to kind of get some pressure off of his loons. Now, troops start going into the core again. You know, Golem still tanking. He's got Wiz up top. You know, he's kind of working his way, being patient with his loons. Really he still has 4 wall breakers, which is way too much for this base overall. So brings in some wall breakers now, kind of saving his loons. Those last 2 loons really aren't doing much. You know, it's pretty much over by now. But definitely, number one, 11 wall breakers on this base just by how it was designed. Really only need like 5 or 6. You know, did a good job in making sure to stay composed, which is extremely important when you attack. Anyhow, the next attack, Killer had a regular hog attack on 9. I'm not going to show that. You know, Alpha had a logo wipe on 11. None of these other attacks are really that great, but what I wanted to do now is I actually wanted to show you one of the Town Hall 9 fails. We're going to end it after that. Kind of one of the Town Hall 9 struggle attacks. I'll actually even show my own and show you where I messed up. Just because I think that's important. So let's go ahead. This is the very first attack in the war for me. It was the first attack in like an actual war. You know, we had the interclan war, but my plan here was a logo. I probably would have ran a logo Golaloon if I had to do it over again. Just on how this base is laid out. But if you notice here, I'm just going to zoom in. One archer tower there, one archer tower there, over here. Sorry, over here by the queen. Now this screws my whole raid up because of pathing, and it's extremely important to understand pathing. And this is a fine example, even though it's a failure. It's a fine example of how pathing you really need to understand it. So you notice here I dropped my golem, right? And you might expect it to go like forward or something like that. And that was honestly kind of what I was thinking. I was just hoping it would tank a little bit. But what you're going to notice here is it works its way all the way around to the archer tower, okay? Bring in my two loons though, and they take out these archer towers right here, right? So everything's good there. Should have dropped a poison spell here on the queen, but I'm kind of bringing in all my troops. But look, if you're watching this attack right now, I literally have no tanking for the core. My P.E.K.K.A start drifting off because I didn't drop my poison spell, which was not good. But the two golems at the beginning really screwed up this whole raid because the P.E.K.K.As come back to the one P.E.K.K.A does. The other one kind of trails off. Really strange on that second P.E.K.K.A, but that's just stuff to consider right there on your angle, really in general, because the way he has his archer towers in the corners makes my raid really screwed up. And you're gonna notice I don't take out all the air defense like you would want to do in a logo wipe. Probably the air defense weren't really centered like you wanted them to. Really just kind of messed my attack up overall. I try to compensate kind of like Alejandro does, but honestly, just things weren't really going my way on this attack. I bring some backhand loons, try and get something to go in there. I have five loons overall, and really, my attack's kind of history from that. Just didn't get enough tanking in the middle of the core, or in the core of this base. So I had a solid plan, in all honesty, but with the go wipe, or the beginning of the go wipe, you really need to make sure to pay attention to your funnel, because you can see my P.E.K.K.A went all the way around the base, which hurt with my tanking and my strength in the core again. I guess base identification, base analysis kind of screwed me over here. But, I suppose it was a solid attempt, but definitely not one of my best attacks. And I should have thought about the golem, and the pathing there to begin with. But that's just a lesson to learn for the future. So it actually screwed up Bryan's attack when he ran a Golaloon on this base. He, tried to, the golem, basically, his first golem pulled to the top of the base again. And, that didn't work either. So that's basically the end of this video. Fairly rough war for us, in all honesty. Hopefully we get this next one a lot better. I'm hoping for 58 to 60 stars, for sure. A little bit of growing pains here and there. Hopefully everyone understands the kick band and the new skitch system, all of that, how that kind of works. Real quick on that though, kick we're going to use for the beginning and initial planning. Plan with your team, talk about your targets and whatnot. I'm not going to be assigning all of the targets anymore. You're going to work with your team and your elders for war assignments, and the elders are kind of going to look at what you're going for and see, is this going to be his best attack or whatnot. And hopefully this is going to get better over time. We're going to have sketch required really for level 75 plus members, because that's when you're going to start looking at hogs and go wipe, and that's when you need sketch more. Don't really need it for dragons. You just need to worry about funnel points with dragons, maybe some back end loons or whatnot, but fairly simple plans with dragon. And then finally, we're using band. Band is going to be used for posting your finalized strategies. Keyword there, because you need to have already talked to your team and get kind of the chicken scratch cleared out of the way for that. And also, we're going to have just like a poll on the band for you to kind of say which base you're going to hit. Team 3 and 4 elders will tell in the comments. Just let me know who's hitting what, just so I can see and look at the base overall real quick. Take a glance and just make sure that our targets look solid and nothing looks super out of line. So that's basically our new strategy going forward for the most part in terms of organization. We'll see how this works out, but for right now, I feel like this is the best move. Um, Obviously there's some other parts to it, but for the main kick, band, and sketch, that's kind of how we're using it there. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Definitely make sure that people are planning for first and second attacks on kick. It's going to be the same process for both attacks, and I really want to see more planning earlier and with your team and that kind of stuff, because we did rush some attacks and you can see the results in this war. So hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. This is Sir Studmuffin, Leader of Affliction. Hope you all have a great day. Peace out.